And of your art, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
A quorum is present.
Got it. Any persons wishing to address City Council on any item on today's agenda may do so at this time.
Mayor, we're pulling items number 10 and 12 on the consent calendar.
Pulling 10 and 12.
I'm Joseph Texera, and I object to the city doing business with Inglewood Today News because the owner, Willie Brown, deliberately lies to his readers and he deliberately hides important news stories from Inglewood's residents because that's what you pay him to do. Willie Brown knows that this council has approved the payment of over $60,000 to go to an outside attorney to sue me just to get incriminating videos about James Butts off the internet. That's $60,000 so far on a case that the city is almost guaranteed to lose. Willie Brown knows that this council is spending $60,000 that could have paid for literally tens of thousands of meals for underprivileged children, adults, or veterans on an unwinnable lawsuit to try to hide James Butts' illegal acts is a big story. But correct me if I'm wrong, Willie Brown hasn't published that story. And Brown can't say it isn't a big story because multiple TV stations, newspapers, civil rights groups, consumer groups, universities, and dozens of websites have published stories about James Butts using our tax dollars as his own personal defense fund. Willie Brown didn't do a story, but Channel 9 TV did a 4-minute story that showed James Butts refusing to be interviewed. Pat Harvey on Channel 2 News did a story on it. KCET did a story on it. The LA Times did 3 stories critical of this council in just the last 3 weeks. In one story, the Times straight out said that if Butts and this council don't want to be held responsible for the things they do and say, they should resign. The Washington Post, the paper that exposed the Watergate conspiracy, did a story on it, where the legal analyst said about the lawsuit, quote, "I expect Texera to win promptly and possibly get attorney's fees from the city of Inglewood," unquote. Civil rights groups have done stories criticizing James Butts and this council, but not Willie Brown because he gets paid to hide this council's misconduct. The National Coalition Against Censorship said that the lawsuit against me was doomed to fail, stating, quote, "Defending free speech often requires one to defend words you don't necessarily agree with. But then there are times when the attitudes of the free speech opponents are so out of bounds that it makes the free speech case an easy one," unquote. But Willie Brown doesn't write a word about the case. Public Citizen, the consumer group Ralph Nader founded, even said that the attorney this council has paid $60,000 to, Joanna Esty, appears to not know what she's doing based on, quote, "the silly and even dishonest arguments she makes in her brief," unquote. Nobody thinks the city is going to win this free speech case against me, and that means that you have wasted our tax dollars, damaged the reputation of the city just to violate my civil rights.
Good evening, council members. I'm going to address an interesting item. Here is the rewards on items number 7 and 8 for information leading to arrest, conviction. I got several calls last evening about the Channel 7 news about the unfortunate, horrible, dreadful, disgusting homicide that took place in our community. And part of that news coverage included an excerpt of somebody's recording at Faithful Central Bible Church, where someone claimed they had never, ever voted for rewards in the past. And I got to tell you, I sat there thinking, what is it, Alzheimer's? What is it, selective memory? Never, ever, never voted for a reward in this community. So let's see. Do the names Kevin Harris, Drexler Boyce, Gwendolyn Taylor, Trina Wilson, Frederick Martin mean anything to you? Yeah, already offered for rewards for arrest and conviction for information leading to. Yeah. Okay, then there's that other group of names from a different year, and that included the Kevin Harris and the Carl Smith, John Roscoe, Eric Conovariabus, who knows, all these names. Over and over and over again, we have voted for rewards. And I do not, for the life of me, understand why, when someone is grieving, when someone has suffered a significant loss, there are those who incredibly need to misrepresent. You have voted for rewards in the past, even though we brought out Mark Fonterar over here and asked point blank, have we ever paid out a reward? And he, of course, answered no. But I guess grandstanding in the midst of a church to people who are grieving doesn't matter. And that really hurts. You know, you say that as if that's not significant. But when people are grieving, you should not take advantage of their grief. And you want to sit here and laugh about it. It isn't funny. People's lives have been impacted, and we should tell the truth. I'm going to assume you're going to vote for these rewards. I would hope that you do, even if you believe they go nowhere. And yes, I believe that you should offer a reward, but don't ever misrepresent and lie about something quite so significant, because it is obvious to all of us that lying comes far too easily.
Okay, Mr. Brown. I misspoke. What I meant was I never initiated one, all right? So, yes, you caught me. I made a mistake. Thank you very much. You are so dramatic. Is there any further public comment? We'll close public comment. Item 1, open accessory agency and housing authority.
A quorum is present.
Move allow payment of the bills.
Second. CS1 and H1. Madam Clerk.
Council and agency members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Chairman Bud.
Aye. Consent calendar items 2 through 19. On. 2 through 19. So moved.
But we pulled items 10 and 12.
yeah.
Right. But
Second.
still 2 through 19.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Council members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
Aye. 01.
Staff report recommending adoption of an ordinance number 1514 regarding stormwater management and discharge control and amending the Article 16 of Chapter 10 of the Inglewood Municipal Code to include low-impact development requirements and additional revisions pursuant to the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System permit requirements for the municipal separate stormwater system.
Motion to waive further reading?
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
Aye. Move adoption.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Dodson. Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Aye. 02.
Staff report recommending adoption of an ordinance number 1513 approving zoning code amendments 20 modify regulations for the sale of distilled spirits.
Motion to waive
Waive.
further reading.
Second. Madam Clerk.
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye.
I'll adopt the ordinance.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Dodson. Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. A1.
Thank you, Mayor. There's no oral reports from the city attorney's office.
M1.
No city manager reports.
1.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to share with you guys, I got a certificate from the city of Carson.
Nice.
Oh, no. We got to check this out.
So this certificate is for the women's conference that we do every year. And we had it last week, and men showed up too, guys. So it wasn't just all women, although we did rule. It was about 3,500 of us. So they gave me a certificate of recognition recognition for connecting women to power for the conference, so I thought I would share that with you. Thank you. That's the end of my remarks.
CT1, CSA2, H2, and Open the Finance Authority, and F1.
Monthly Treasurers Report for the month ending April 2015.
Receive and file. CT2, Madam City Treasurer.
And congratulations to City Clerk Yvonne Horton on your certificate. And just to give a brief treasurer's report as of April the 30th, and there's copies on the outside table for the City of Inglewood. There's total cash and investments of $88,376,548. The successor agency, $100,532,477. Housing Authority, $100,871. Public Finance, $13,511,148. Total portfolios for all four entities is $202,521,044. And the debt service interest generated was $27 for the City of Inglewood, successor agents $10,613, and public finance $1,721. And the interest earnings for the City of Inglewood was $61,709. And also I had a couple of bonds that were called. Generally I buy 5-year bonds, and quite often they can be called away before maturity. And these bonds were called for maturity. It's a federal Freddie Mac, and it was had a 1.55 coupon. I knew that one would be called away. Anyhow, I had it for 21 months and have capital gains of $4,462, and a total earnings for the 21 months was $34,106. And also I had a federal farm credit at 1.37 coupon, and I had that one for 22 and a half months, and it was also a 5-year callable, and it was called away, and it total interest that was generated for that one was $23,823. So all total for the two bonds, roughly about $68,000. And also would like to point out that for the past 12 months, the number of bank mergers is nearly 300, which really has contributed to just a very few minimum bank failures. Currently, there are 112 banking institutions with over $10 billion in assets, which represents nearly 82% of all bank assets in the entire United States. And the number also represents 1.7% of all active banks, with the logo too big to fail. And also, there was an interesting article on CNN that mentioned also regarding real estate values that they're near the 2006 levels. So real estate values are really rising, particularly they're doing quite well here in Inglewood. Had another home that sold for nearly $545,000 in the Morningside Park district. So real estate values are doing very, very well here in Inglewood, and they're not stand on the market for long once a few people are putting them up for sale. That concludes my remarks. I just want to mention also for those I've noted a few homes that are in foreclosure. Again, do give my office a call, because I do have a contact that may be able to offer some assistance. And that number is 310-412-5642. Again, 310-412-5642. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Treasurer. CI1.
Initiative by Mayor James T. Butts, Jr., recommending adoption of a resolution supporting Assembly Joint Resolution 11 by Assemblywoman Autumn R. Burke.
So move.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
Aye. CI2.
Initiative by Mayor James T. Butts, Jr., recommending approval to submit a letter no later than June 30th, 2015, to the chairperson of the South Bay Cities Council of Governments to request inclusion of La Brea Station Bus Transit Center into the 2016 South Bay Measure R Highway Operational Improvement Program.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla,
Aye.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
Aye. Any person who wishes to address the council on any matter connected with city business not elsewhere considered may do so at this time. 1 minute.
My name is Alfonso Parker Jr. I'm a Vietnam veteran, 66, 67, also a conscious objector. The government just admitted, and I saw it on TV last night, that they've been testing on us, experimenting on us. I want one of the stations, any one of them, to call me at 323-842-3363. I can show you how they've been doing it, from the least to the highest government officials, AARP, even the police. You have all been working to pull this off. You're collaborators, and you do your own. You succubus, do your own government. You've gotten so far away from the Constitution, but I can show you, ladies and gentlemen, what they've been doing to your young people and where they're going with your children. By the way, Mayor, that Vietnam vet that came in here crying about 4 months ago, you took his name, gonna help him. You didn't help him. He died. He died Saturday morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. You never called him or done
I didn't know, and I'm sorry to hear that. Any further public comment?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Emilio Cervantes. I represent Thompson Pipe Group. We are a local RCP manufacturer here in Southern California, reinforced concrete pipe. There is a project that's coming up to bid with the city on July 1st by Century Boulevard Improvements. There's a scope of work behind curb that's being sole sourced with a single called out plastic pipe manufacturer. We met with the city engineer, was told that an alternative to HTP will not be allowed. So we're requesting that if at all possible, that we could get that there. If the city has created a sole source project with the current design, is just putting the city at risk for change orders that could be potential. This is a kind of project that a contractor will see and just see as a dream job in that particular scope of work. Also, flexible plastic pipe comes in standard 20 feet sections.
Sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Omar Baldwin. I was reading the Bible, I believe in the chapter of Luke, it said, first ye seek the kingdom of heaven. And I was watching this movie and it's called The Kingdom of Heaven. And the whole movie was like, the war was like the best part about the movie. And my dad used to always tell me like, hey son, know who you are, know your history, and so one day I hashtag King Baldwin, like I just did it, and then it was like the same king that's in that movie, but he died of leprosy. So it was like he was the leper king, I believe. I don't know if he was the only one or not, but this is just what I know. And he died, but he kept peace with Saladin. That was between the Jews in Jerusalem. Like they were fighting for Jerusalem.
My name is Joseph Texera, and I want to ask Councilman Padilla to stop embarrassing yourself when you take your time to criticize Ms. Zambrano, because during her 1 minute to speak, the least amount of time that any city council gives its residents to speak in the whole South Bay, you criticize her for not talking about something other than what she wants to talk about as a citizen. You want her to talk about the Adobe? You get 5 minutes. Give her a couple of minutes. They do that all the time. You want to hear from somebody from the public? You give them some time. Don't posture and say, oh, you should be talking about something I want you to talk about. She's a citizen. She can use her 1 measly minute to talk about whatever she wants. Just give her some time or just be quiet.
Welcome back, Mr. Davis.
How do you do, Mayor, City Council, and staff? Ray Davis, 2nd District, and I'm up here to quickly voice my concern about the horrific events that are taking place regarding a 75-year-old blind man here in Inglewood. I know the Chief of Police and all concerned parties are on this, but That's creeped me out. I don't know what is going on. And I'll keep my eyes open if I see anything weird, and I hope that all of our citizens will also keep their eyes open. It's a world out there, people, and it's not safe. Thank you very much.
Council members, you were just told about something I think that every one of the residents of this community should all be concerned about, and that's single sourcing. When did we change the policy? Because you did not bring it before the public, that somebody somewhere other than the 5 of you decides who gets to bid on how many projects. The only reason I can reasonably come up with for something like that is that person is instructed to, what is that happy word? Kickback, throwback, arrange for, reimbursement. Competitive bids are put in place for a reason, and anyone who chooses to disregard that probably has ulterior motives. And that's really unfortunate, because if their product, anybody else's product, is found inferior, that would come out in a report. It would be very simple. But you know what? I'm looking forward to the actions that take place with regard to the attorney you hired, because it may actually cost her a career.
My name is Willie A.G., and I live in the beautiful city of Inglewood. And you know something? I'm sick and tired of 4 or 5 people coming up to this mic every week trying to run this city. They don't want to get out and campaign and be elected so they can be representatives. They just want to come here and demean this city, and I resent it. I support Willie Brown and his paper. I support this council and staff 100%. And to listen to this rhetoric every week, and Mr. Brown, for the last 18, 20 years, I have never heard her say one positive thing about this city. And Mr. Texter, I don't know what his complaint is. If he want to change this city, let him run for election and he can sit up there and make the decision.
Thank you, Mr. A.G.
You're welcome.
We'll close public comment. Council comments, Councilman Dotson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Got a couple of quick ones. Dallas Warren Lane Elementary School here, being recognized as one of 28 schools in Southern California, or in California, Health Behavior Learning Center in the state of California, Department of Health. They accomplished it by practicing healthy eating, physical activity, and raising food. So I want to congratulate them. Kids are learning how to eat. Going to be the better for it. I want to thank Grace Harper STEM Academy for inviting me over to their first graduation, first of school of its kind in the area. Girls' school, 7th and 8th grade, they live on the campus. And I was their first welcome speaker. And it was my first time speaking at a graduation. So it was a whole lot of firsts going on there, but it was a wonderful graduation. 22 girls will graduate, 14 of them will be attending St. Mary's. So congratulations to all the graduates and to Grace Hopper STEM Academy. And thank you all for coming out.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of quick notes. Tomorrow night is the graduation for the CERT program. It's going to take place at Rogers Park, I believe at 8 o'clock? 8:15. So I want to just take this opportunity to congratulate everybody that completed that course. It's a big plus and benefit for our community to have our residents that are prepared to go in service when there is a an emergency and a need. So congratulations to the graduates. Last week, Councilmember Morales and I had an opportunity to attend a conference, NALEO conference in Las Vegas. It was a great conference, a lot of really good breakout sessions where we had an opportunity to talk to other elected officials, other governmental agencies, and bring back some information for our community. So I really enjoyed that. And last but not least, I want to congratulate Margaret Evans on her election last Tuesday to the Inglewood Unified District's School Board. For those that have run for office, you know how much work and effort goes into it. And I also want to congratulate Graciela Patino for her efforts in running a solid campaign. Bless you. So with that, Mayor, thank you very much, everyone, for coming out, and enjoy the rest of your week.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I want to address a couple of items. The first item is the comment we heard about a single sourcing regarding a bid item. And I've already sent out a correspondence to Mr. Cervantes after my discussion with Public Works Director. And clearly, I want to make sure it's aware that the city sends out an RFP, RFQ, and the bid package is out as we speak. And the plans and specifications were arranged by our engineer staffing and approved by the city manager before it goes out. It will then subsequently come before this body with recommendations based on who is the successor bidder. So if there's any issues that need to be addressed, I encourage you to be one of those that's going to submit the bid to meet the deadline, and then we can, in fact, then address the concerns about specific material that's going to be used that you brought out before. But when you made the comment about single sourcing, no, it's a bid process, and you have a right to go ahead and submit the bid. I also want to identify a happy belated Father's Day. I enjoyed my day, how much to say. And many fathers, thank you for your well wishes as well, and likewise. I also want to thank this body, staff, particularly of getting our packages together, because the residents that fall under the boundary lines of the FAA and LAWA for residential sound insulation. Tonight we approved 159 units or homes that we now have 5 bid packages that have been approved to now work on getting those homes done so we can meet the deadline before December 31st. And then finally, I want to bring up, we're now starting to have the experience of 2 things. One, the ice cream trucks are coming out with regularity, and I want to reach out to identify that they have the necessary business license to function, as well as we're now dealing with illegal fireworks. Illegal fireworks are those that project up in the air and high explosions. The ones that we now currently make available at the fireworks stands in the city of Inglewood are pre-approved for safe and sane. These fireworks are not to go higher than 6 feet up in the air. So anything beyond that, I encourage you to call our Inglewood Police Department. I reached out to my Sergeant of Arms. That number that you can reach out to is 310-412-8771. So we can stop these individuals from using these illegal fireworks, particularly with the drought that's going on. We don't want to have to deal with fires. And so I appreciate everyone to be safe and sane for the holidays. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Franklin, on those ice cream trucks, could you also make sure they have pralines and cream? We can't do that? Okay, I'm sorry. Councilman Morales?
Just briefly, touching on a couple things that were already mentioned. Of course, the CERT training, I know some of my residents were there. We're fortunate to have that kind of training. I really hope that the next time it comes out, more and more people go through that. The NALEO conference. Wanted to mention the conference Councilman Padilla and myself went to. I mean, it was extremely productive. A few years back, we were able to talk to NALEO and get them to come down and do a application fair for citizenship. And they gave 500 vouchers to people who, at this point, should be citizens by now. It was amazing. We actually, unfortunately, had to turn people away once 500 people showed up to the line. And we've been speaking to them about bringing some of the more resources that they have here to the city. So it's always productive, and, I'm glad we went. So Thank you, and a belated Father's Day. Happy Father's Day.
Congratulations to 321 Inglewood High School seniors that graduated at the campus of Southwest College last week. I was the keynote speaker, and I was just proud to see those graduates. I want to congratulate Margaret Evans as well for being elected to the school board, and Graciela Patino for her time as an interim appointment and the job that she did. Congratulations to the city clerk on her award in the city of Carson. And we know that must have been special for Carson to give someone from Inglewood an award. I want to close the meeting in the name of a couple people, one of them being Robert Hollis, and I want to speak. I want to tell you that I think it's extremely unfortunate that we have some people that are so bitter and vitriolic that they seize on every statement to launch a screed against someone because they have such personal hatred and animus. The event, the vigil for Mr. Hollis, who was killed in his home in a very gruesome manner, was for the family. When you speak and you speak off the cuff and it's an emotional ceremony, you might say voted for as opposed to initiated, because if you listen to it, I said I intend to initiate an action to ask for a reward. So it really doesn't take 3 minutes to seize on a misstatement. The issue is you had the city manager, Councilman Padilla, Councilman Dotson, and myself, and the police chief that were there for the family. That's what it was about, not one misspoken word. And I'm very sorry that your life could be so empty that you would sit up and seize on that. So we want to close in the name of Mr. Hollis. He was a musician and member of the choir at Faithful Central. He was well known. He used to do pinstriping on cars, but he didn't pinstripe them, he painted them. He painted the pinstripe on the original Batman vehicle from the series, the George Barry's car. He was well known. He's the kind of guy that as soon as you saw his picture, everybody said, I know him. He's a nice guy, very nice person. And so next week I intend to submit an initiative where we'll do something different. Ordinarily, we wait until all leads are exhausted and the police department asks for a reward. But in this case, this was so unthinkable, and clearly the discernment of a motive is so unclear that I think it's appropriate, and that's what the point was. The point was compassion for the family. I want to close in the name of Miss Mary Ann Rambo, the 95-year-old mother of Cecil Rambo, former assistant sheriff and the current city manager of Carson, who was one of my mentees in law enforcement, and he is also the current interim city manager in Carson, and he's doing a fantastic job. And I just want to give the council and the city's prayers to the Rambo family and the Hollis family. And with that, we're adjourned. Robert.